All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit us over to broadcast, and looks like we're ready to go, guys. Go ahead and mute yourselves. If you're not a speaker, please turn off camera just so that it's vocaled on our speakers. All right, here we go, guys. We're going live. All right, welcome. I see some folks here logging in. Welcome to our webinar, Unlocking Growth Potential with E-commerce. We've got some great content here for you today. While we're getting settled, I would love for you, I know we're all coming from different places around the world. I'd love for you to log into the chat and just tell us where you're coming from today. I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, and we've got a lot of folks kind of joining us here from different locations. So let us know where you're from as we get started. Oh, fantastic. It looks like we've got Lisa joining us from Beaverton, Oregon. Barb's coming from Nelson, BC, Canada. All right. We've got Louise from Delaware, Jesse from Boulder, Colorado. Nice. We've got some great West Coast and Canada representation there. Thank you so much for joining us, you guys, and especially right around the lunch hour. Hope you guys were able to grab a sandwich and can enjoy the content. I have just a couple little housekeeping items as we get started. And I know more people are settling in here, but I want to get to the content because Parag and Tom have a lot of really great stuff to present to you guys today. A couple things to note as we get through this. There's a couple key features inside of Zoom that you can utilize. So I don't want you to have to wait till the end for your questions. There's a Q&A feature that you can utilize down at the bottom. If you can get into the Q&A, submit your questions. But don't let that stop you if you're not able to get that work. Please utilize the chat at any time. We'll capture those questions and address them at the end of the presentation. So don't wait till the end, submit as we go along. Other things to note is we do have the polling feature activated. So as we have polling, we'll be able to capture some of these questions right from you. We'd love your participation as we dig into each one of those. And then at the end of this is being recorded, so don't worry about feverishly taking notes. We will have a recording that'll go out to you so that you can go back and capture some of those. I'll give us just a couple more seconds as people are logging in, and then we'll dive in. All right, looks like we've got most of our folks settled here. If we could just jump forward a slide here for me, I would love to just try out the polls for the very, very first time. So you can kind of see on here, we're asking the question, what does your retail business look like right now? And we're new to selling online, we're new to QuickBooks point of sale, and we're new to Webgility. I'm actually launching a poll. So our attendees should be able to see this on your screen and answer that poll. As you're going through. Yep, I can see a couple answers right now. We see a couple folks that are new to Webgility and new to selling online. So this is how the poll feature will work as we dive into this. It looks like it's almost an even break, guys. I've got 30% online, 30% new to QuickBooks, and it's kind of adjusting 45 new to Webgility. So great, you guys are in for a treat here as we dig into some of this. You're going to learn a little bit more about these topics. So perfect. Go ahead and advance some more. I want to introduce our fantastic speakers to you guys. So we've got a real treat. So we've got Tom Linders, and Tom is 19, going on 20 years with Intuit. Incredible career serving retail businesses. He's been a sales consultant for over 30 years, and he operates an awesome handcrafted jewelry business online with his wife, which is pretty exciting. We've got a lot of really great experience with Tom coming at us today. And then we've got Parag, who's founder and CEO of Webgility. He also has a lot of experience with SaaS, helping e-commerce merchants. He's helped over 10,000 e-commerce businesses with 20 years of technology, and he previously ran an agency and led the SMB platform at Amazon. So we've got a lot of great knowledge coming to you guys today to speak. So without further ado, Parag, can you kick us off?
Of course, yes. Thank you, Anitai, for the warm introduction. Hey, Tom and everyone, thank you for attending today. We've got a lot of slides, a lot of information to cover. But if you're here today, I'm hoping that you're excited about e-commerce and the opportunity that's out there for you to grow. Before I jump into talking about Webgility and our solution, I think it's really important that we set some context. We're in the midst of a pandemic and it's disrupted all of our lives. So first and foremost, I want to thank you all for taking precious time out of your day. And I really hope this presentation will be informative and productive so that you can take away some real actionable steps to further your business and grow with all that's changing around us. Before we jump into some of our solutions, I think it's also important to set context on where we are and what is the state of retail. Many of you in the audience are probably already experiencing this firsthand, so this is not news to you, but I'll try and give you some context around what's happening out there. First and foremost, it's critical to recognize that the face of retail has changed. Merchants have to adapt to a completely new world because retail sales have dropped over 10% this year, a level that's not been seen since 2016. And by all estimates, retail is not going to rebound to last year's levels until 2022. So these forecasts are constantly changing, especially with the lockdowns that are in effect in some place and new store openings that are happening with brand new restrictions. So it's safe to say that the entire face of retail has changed and consumers are having to adapt to this new market environment by moving to purchasing online. With sales moving online and so much disruption happening in the way that people shop, you also have some pretty strenuous conditions for supply chain. And as merchants, you have a lot of challenges in fulfillment. And last but not least, it's also important to realize not only has retail changed from a buying and selling behavior, you're also forced to deal with a lot of these challenges with very different staffing. So especially if you're a brick and mortar retailer, for you, it's not just about growth, it's now in fact about survival because brick and mortar stores are dying. As many of you have probably heard in the news, nearly 14,000 stores have closed as of August 30th. Big brand retailers, household names like JCPenney, Neiman Marcus, and J. Crew have filed for bankruptcy. Increasingly, the shopping choices for Americans is down from all of the different channels you had to be able to physically go to really constricted shopping to online. And that's obviously a pretty challenge for brick and mortar businesses, but it also presents a significant opportunity for online growth. Shoppers are now moving also to a hybrid environment where you'll buy in the brick and mortar business, but you'll be able to actually pick up in store or buy online and vice versa. So you have a lot of different changes that are happening in the shopping models. And a really glaring statistic about this change is how much growth there's been in curbside pickup. So really, as a retailer, you've got to really adapt to these growing changes in the marketplace. I can't think of a better graph than this one from the Census Bureau that really speaks to the real monumental change that's happened. You can see that hockey stick on the right, which is really coupled with actually a dramatic decline. So the blue line that you're seeing on screen is the drop that's happened in 2020 during this recession across retail sales. But e-commerce sales, as you can see in the red, have dramatically accelerated. And the yellow line or the orange there is really highlighting the percentage of retail sales that are now moving towards e-commerce. So it's not just the shift that's happening in retail, but it's also a dramatic acceleration of e-commerce. So the time is now. And as you look at this shift, it's also important to sort of unpack which of the categories are really impacted. So for those of you that are listening in across these different categories, the market share as of May 2020 this year, 62% of books and music are sold online, and 30% of furniture, which traditionally has been a really, really tough category to accelerate in with online sales, is dramatically shifting because buyers are moving online. And the total addressable market in the US alone is over 210 million shoppers. The opportunity for growth is tremendous. As next year, we expect over 4.5 trillion of sales to happen online. And in terms of digital sales and that behavior, you're having to really operate in a very, very different environment. So it's really imperative for you to think about how you go omni-channel. And e-commerce, as I mentioned, is accelerating at a record pace. And before we sort of wrap up on talking about the market, I also want to put timing into context here. Not only is the time now for omni-channel, it's also critical as you think about this holiday season because it's going to be unlike any other we've seen in the past. While spending is going to dramatically increase this holiday season, the online spend is going to be the dramatic shift, and 80% of the shoppers plan to spend more, and they're going to do so by moving their business to online merchants. Again, really, really critical that you set up yourself for success as an omni-channel retailer. So now that we've talked a little bit about the market, let me share with you what are some of my recipes for growth. And I've tried to keep it very, very high level because I know you're thinking omni-channel and e-commerce are hard. And I promise before the end of today's presentation, we'll demystify a lot of it and really get you thinking about how we can simplify that experience. So let's talk about what is the big picture recipe. First and foremost, it's really important that you have an omni-channel strategy. It goes without saying, but it's so many businesses that I've noticed over these last 20 years that start off not actually having a plan of how they're going to build their e-commerce business. And really thinking about how you're going to adjust your retail locations. Successful omni-channel businesses really find creative ways to optimize their retail locations so that they can really create a multi-channel strategy where they're really leveraging their retail locations the right way and then expanding that revenue in their business to online through various channels. It's also important that you understand what your supply chain looks like. It goes without saying, but as you shift your business to omni-channel, you're going to attract a very different buyer persona. So the catalog that you have, the items that will sell, the velocity at which you will sell will be very different. So you can't rely on your traditional brick and mortar supply chain. You really need to start thinking about velocity, forecasting, and organizing your catalog. Once you've figured out what your catalog looks like, the channels you're going to sell in, it's also important to develop a fulfillment plan. You want to think about whether you're going to be fulfilling your products and orders in-house, or you're going to use a third-party logistics provider like Amazon, use dropship providers, or you're going to have to really fine-tune your in-house operations as well if you plan on doing fulfillment yourself. As you sell on more channels, it's also key to centralize your operations. Today, we're going to talk a lot about Webgility and how QuickBooks Point of Sale come together to help you centralize everything into one neat solution. And as you touch on so many systems and start to think about channels of sale, automating your different workflows so you know exactly what's selling where, and who's buying, how do you do your fulfillment, really getting a sense of your multi-channel business is going to be key. So these are my big picture recipe items for growth. Now let's zoom in on what are some of the key challenges of selling online, and then we'll talk about the solutions. So as you look at the challenges, it's really important first that we get a little level set from the audience. So what are your biggest pain points? And so we understand from you how you're thinking about your growth. So we're gonna load up a quick poll here. And if you could, tell us a little bit from your perspective, what do you see as the biggest pain points for your business in selling online? Just take a minute, take a second here, if you wouldn't mind, just click on that screen, a poll should have popped up. Just give us a little sense of where you're seeing your pain points for your omni-channel business. And that'll help me and Tom tailor a little bit more in depth on how we cover on the areas that you see the pain points. We'll just give you another 20 seconds here to fill out the poll results. I have quite a few people filling it out already. The top contender I see right now is inventory management. Certainly seems to be a pretty significant pain point. And the second lead I see here is multi-channel growth. So thinking about how you expand into multiple channels. So just another 5 seconds here. If you wouldn't mind tapping on that screen and tell us a little bit about what's challenging in your business, and then we can dive in. So we're gonna go ahead and end the poll now. Thank you all for filling it out. And the results are in by a long shot. The 65% of you have said inventory management is your biggest pain point. And the second is multi-channel operations. So figuring out how you manage your business in multiple channels. So that gives me great cue, and we'll dive right in. So as we look at the different pain points across e-commerce, you're absolutely right. Inventory management, and as you see, the second on the right is multi-channel operations management. Those are absolutely the keys to being successful in e-commerce. When you think about inventory management, I think one key pain point you'll encounter is allocation. How do I set the right inventory levels across the different sales channels I have, especially as you move to online? Because if you've got a limited inventory, if you've got limited stock, you have to be really thoughtful about what you place online versus what's in your e-commerce channels, because that's going to make a real big difference and ensure that you don't end up overselling, which ends up being the second key problem. Because if you don't allocate correctly and you don't have the right supply chain, you'll end up with a really poor customer experience. With inventory management, returns and purchasing can also be a big challenge. Managing multiple channels is, of course, a big pain point as well, because you're thinking about not only the marketing strategies about how each channel is going to perform, but you're also thinking about the different fees you're incurring, making sure you don't have data entry and human error. And with multiple channels, how do you run your business from one central place when each channel has its own order management, has its own inventory management solution, and really different ways in which you can manage the customer and order workflow. The last couple of items here in terms of what I see as the key pain points around fulfillment. So as I spoke earlier, figuring out how you're going to do warehousing or use a third-party logistics provider, how you're going to solve for shipping and returns, what kind of new workflows you have to introduce, because now e-commerce is part of that equation. And last but not least, I see managing all of this data, the data entry, being able to track each channel, figuring out what's really working, what's profitable, and what's happening across the business becomes a really tough task. So we're going to try to address all of these challenges today, and we're going to make sure that you're prepared to have a successful holiday season as an omni-channel business. So let's dive right in to helping you solve some of those pain points. First thing you need to do to prepare for the holiday season is to create a strategy and set objectives for your overall business for each channel. And yes, not just about your overall business, it's important to have a strategy for each e-commerce channel. When you think about different marketplaces, they are set up for different kinds of success. And I'm going to cover some quick tips here as well in the next couple of slides here. You also want to assess the competitive landscape for each channel. Marketplaces present a tremendous opportunity for exposure, but they force you to have a really strong pricing strategy. They force you to have a really strong review strategy so that you're getting the biggest exposure on those channels, because there's a lot of competitive pressure there. It's important to also have a marketing plan and an operational plan for each channel. The sales velocity you get from each channel is going to differ quite dramatically. You want to think about how you're going to fulfill e-commerce orders versus your brick and mortar store orders. And of course, we wouldn't be talking here if we didn't have real key solutions. So it's important you implement software. Put the right automation in place and think about your processes. Something that I love to do, not just for my own business, but something I recommend to all of our e-commerce customers, is really start to think about your processes and visualize what a workflow would look like. Simple flow charts. Even pick up a piece of paper and start drawing, or a whiteboard. That'll really help you think about your software and how you're going to process an order from start to finish, so that you can get the product in the hands of the customer as quickly as possible after that click has happened to place an order in your channel. And my recommendation would really also be to execute a channel at a time. Too often I've seen businesses fail when they try to go blitz across multiple channels. You want to think about each channel one at a time. And as you think about this strategy, ask yourself for your store, what's selling the best in store versus what's going to sell better online? How much are you going to invest in inventory versus what's happening in the different marketplace? How are you going to staff your store in the holiday season? And how are you going to staff to handle online orders? Each of these questions will help you create the right process and workflow for your e-commerce and omni-channel business. Diving into inventory management. When you're selling across channels, obviously, it's vital to have enough products so that you can sustain, especially with a holiday season. For those of you that are just getting to selling online, or maybe you have a little bit of experience historically, be sure to map out what your holiday inventory needs to look like. Which products you expect to sell. There's a lot of tools out there that'll help you determine what are the top sellers. There's several great industry blogs around what are top performing products in different categories. And better yet, just look up at several different marketplaces. You'll see what are the hot and trending products, and you'll get a better sense of what's selling. So have a plan, develop a forecast, and really evaluate which suppliers are going to benefit you. Another thing that I find that most folks forget is the storage costs. So it's not just important to evaluate how much inventory you're going to need, but definitely think about how much cost it's going to be on your business to store those items. And that's one area why you might really consider leveraging a third-party provider or using Amazon's FBA for fulfillment. Seasonality, of course, with the holiday is going to play a critical role, which is also why you got to think about what you're going to do when the holiday season's over. What are you going to do with that excess stock if you don't plan correctly? Again, really think about that. And also, what are you going to do when you have low stock? Make sure your suppliers are prepared and plan for the holiday season, and think really strongly about how you're going to automate your inventory going forward. In terms of your online channels, here are some quick tips. I think this would be a really useful slide as you're evaluating which channels to sell or which channel to expand on. Marketplaces like Amazon need very little resources because you get all the benefits of their audience and their customer base. It's great to test out products and you have low market costs, and it's really awesome for cash flow because you can sell quickly and get that revenue flowing. If you're going to sell on your own e-commerce channel, like a Shopify or a BigCommerce, you want to be really prepared for the marketing costs and the resources you're going to need in order to list your products, to do your marketing, to manage the checkout journey, and to really figure out a way to build your brand on those channels. It's, of course, fantastic for delivering customer loyalty, but e-commerce platforms definitely put some strain on your resourcing because you've got to think about a lot more than simply listing and selling your products. The other thing you might consider are specialty, what I call platforms like an Etsy and now eBay, which really focuses, in my mind, Etsy is so specialized for certain categories. They have a tremendous audience if you're selling artisan or craft goods. And eBay has now become a real center point for liquidations. If you're trying to get rid of a lot of items in bulk and you have kind of a sale, it also helps to separate out a lot of your inventory that way. So these are some quick tips on selecting your online channels. As you think about e-commerce order fulfillment, of course, your goal, the holy grail, and it's a standard that's now been established in e-commerce, is you have to figure out how you're going to get to free shipping and get it delivered in less than 2 days. 2-day shipping and free shipping has now become the gold standard. So it's really important that you optimize the entire part of your order fulfillment workflow, starting with even the simplest of things like picking and packing. You've got to optimize that part of the journey so that you can pack it as quickly as possible. You can get the items out the door in the right packaging before that day's cutoff, because if you don't select the right shipping carrier, you don't put the software in place, you would miss that shipping. You could miss that shipping window by a few hours, and that'll be the difference between you hitting that 2-day shipping versus not. So really important to think about that. Also figure out things like your packing slips and what your branding is going to look like on your boxes. How are you going to handle returns? It's really critical time, if you haven't already now, in preparation for the holiday season, to dive in and think about how you're going to handle your drop shipping. I won't be driving too much into your marketing strategy, but here's a quick slide where you can think about the framework of how you're going to develop a plan. Think about the channels you're going to sell and make sure that you balance your festive theming with your strategic messages. And talking about the holidays, here's some really critical dates. You want to be really prepared for the upcoming holiday season. Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and for those of you that are already selling online from the audience, you've probably noticed that your volumes already over the summer have been trending near holiday levels. This is absolutely what we see across our thousands of customers. We're seeing tremendous amount of traffic happening online. So though there is a concept of Black Friday, that Black Friday is now really a Black Monday, because you're going to see Cyber Monday happen across that entire period of time. This holiday season, again, is going to be unlike any other. And as you look at real critical dates around shipping for Christmas, UPS, December 19th is a cutoff date, priority 22nd, and so forth. So keep track of these critical days as you gear up for this holiday season, and plan to ship ahead of these days so you don't experience delays. So the bottom line, have a strategy, plan your entire holiday calendar, be where your customers are most comfortable. Make sure you're thinking about online and your in-store experience. And for those customers that come to you, make sure you have a really compelling experience across both your channels. And think really strategically about what your promotions and discounting process is going to look like across your different channels. So that was a really broad perspective across all of the different challenges that we see in the e-commerce and omnichannel landscape. And I hope that that's going to get all of your creative thinking as entrepreneurs and business owners really going as you plan for the holiday season. Now let's dive in to the second half of our presentation. And we're going to talk a lot about the details of the software in follow-up discussions. And we'll have some call to actions here at the end for those of you that would like to speak to folks on the Webgility side or speak to Intuit point of sale folks directly. We'll put up those contact informations in detail. But instead of cobbling together multiple solutions, what we see today and what we've partnered with Intuit to offer is an omni-channel success program, which really drives QuickBooks point of sale with Webgility. And with this partnership, you'll get a complete QuickBooks point of sale system that helps to bridge that gap, that main pain point that everybody attending here talked about, which is being able to manage inventory from one centralized system. But you're also going to be fully connected to all of your e-commerce channels through Webgility. So whether you sell on Amazon, you sell on eBay, you sell on your own channels through BigCommerce or Shopify, you're going to get a completely seamless experience. So everything runs very fluidly. You can prevent overselling. As you list new products, you can seamlessly publish them to your different sales channels. And with this partnership, you also get streamlined shipping. Shipping is included with Webgility. Ultimately, with this partnership between Webgility and Intuit, you can sell anywhere, manage it all in QuickBooks, and have one centralized system of record from where you and your entire team can run a very effective omni-channel business. As a result of that, all your sales channels are going to be in one place. You're not going to have overselling challenges. It's going to be very, very simplified to list new products, and your shipping will be completely streamlined. So many of you are probably familiar with Webgility and Intuit already, but here's a quick look at why you should work with us. We're an incredibly diverse global team of experts. We've been doing this for almost 20 years. I'm an ex-Amazonian, and so I bring a lot of that passion for e-commerce and small business success to our Webgility platform. We're the #1 app for automation between QuickBooks point of sale and e-commerce. We're a G2 crowd leader. We have a 33+ NPS, incredible CSAT, a global team that's distributed to offer incredible service, and we have a tremendous partnership and insights through our membership with the Amazon and Intuit's developer councils. And we have a really, really strong team of experts that's here to help you. We're a Magic Quadrant leader on G2 Crowd, and we have 5-star reviews, thousands of 5-star reviews across all the marketplaces. And a little bit of a shameless plug here, but as you can see, small businesses absolutely love our solution, and we've got a ton of great reviews to prove it. So definitely check out more on our website and you'll read more. But let's take a quick dive in on what really the solution looks like. I see in the Q&A panel as well, some questions have come up about how do you really connect these things? What does it all look like? So let's bring a real sense of realism here and dive right into a Webgility quick tour. And then I'm going to hand it off to Tom, who's going to give you a little bit of a glimpse of what the Intuit QuickBooks point of sale solution looks like for those of you that are new to the world of point of sale. With Webgility, as I mentioned, all of your e-commerce orders will be in one place. So you'll have a really elegant single place where you can see which customer placed an order when, and all of your different folks on the team can rely on one central dashboard to see which orders came in, what their status is, exchange notes between your different staff, and you'll be able to, at the click of a button, see every detail about the order and its status currently. As I mentioned, you can also print shipping labels. So Webgility is certified with all the major shipping carriers. So you can print a USPS label or a UPS shipping label. You can select the shipping processor as a default, set a ton of rules, or as the orders come in, you can do a quick rate comparison. Depending on how quick your team is to respond to those incoming orders, if, for example, you feel like you're going to miss that cutoff and you want to just upgrade that customer to the next level of service, you can quickly select a different service. It's fully integrated with USB weight scales. So you could just pack your items into your box, put it on a weight scale, the weight will automatically pop up here. Also, it's important, a lot of these details can be pre-programmed. So you have presets. So software is very intelligent and it'll automatically pick up rule sets that you've defined. I see a quick question here. Has a shipping platform? The answer is absolutely yes. So it's all integrated in. You'll not only be able to connect it to all of your e-commerce channels elegantly, but you'll have one central interface from where you can print a shipping label. We also include various insurance services, so you can add that on to your shipping solution. Complete kind of end-to-end fulfillment management. I could spend a lot of time going into details, but shipping itself is a massive area. We also have completely customizable packing slips. If you run a warehouse and you need to figure out where you're and print a pick list, you can do that. Everything in your packing slip can be customized. You can break your orders into multiple shipments. You've got complete control over how you do your shipping and fulfillment. Not only do you have control, you also have the ability to automate. I often like to say it's really as automated as you want it to be, because oftentimes we find customers with different levels of flexibility, I guess, and comfort with what they wish to automate. But with Webgility, you can automate everything from how quickly your orders are downloaded and automatically synced with point of sale. It will automatically handle quantity rules. It will automatically print shipping labels based on a rule set that you define. So it's incredibly, incredibly powerful, and you have a lot of control and flexibility on how you automate. One quick thing that you see on the screen here is that there's also a very detailed rules engine. So as you're doing omni-channel selling, if you want to set a certain quantity rule for what you have in point of sale versus a different quantity available in each e-commerce channel, you have that level of control. And you can also modulate pricing. So you can say, I want this particular, and this is at an item level or at a broad catalog level. You can choose to sell your products at a certain price point in your e-commerce channels versus your brick and mortar business. You have very, very extensive capability. Now, while you're running your multi-channel business, I'm sure as a business owner, or if you're a performance manager who's looking at how's my channel doing, you get also a single dashboard from where you can see how each channel is performing. And yes, while we're talking about a desktop-based solution to manage your business, Webgility comes with the as soon as you get everything set up, you also get a free mobile solution that gives you insights on the go in a very elegant, and it's not just mobile for your phone, it's also elegantly available on the web. So you have granular reporting, and you can understand whether you're in front of your desktop or not. You can completely see from one interface how your different e-commerce channels are doing, and really get into the nitty-gritty of which products are performing well, which customers, where geographically you're getting most of your sales. You have really full control of that. It's completely tailored to your business, includes white glove onboarding. So our team is going to set this all up with your help. We're going to go through all of the screens with you to make sure it's really, really simple, and you can track and manage things at a granular level, whether it be by order or group them. So you have full control over how everything works. And with the way that it's seamlessly integrated into QuickBooks point of sale, and I'm not going to steal Tom's thunder here, but with Webgility's integration, you're able to see at a very detailed level in your point of sale solution which e-commerce transaction occurred in which channel. So your reporting in QuickBooks Point of Sale is just going to be beautiful, and you'll know exactly what's happening, even if you're inside Point of Sale or if you're inside the Webgility product. So we've got a few minutes in the end for Q&A. I probably have already gone over my time. I'm going to quickly hand it over now to Tom, who's going to tell us all about the amazing features of QuickBooks Point of Sale. And please continue to send in your questions. Thanks. Over to you, Tom.
Hello, I'm Tom Linders from Intuit, and we're the maker, obviously, of the QuickBooks Point of Sale. We're very excited about this partnership we have with Webgility, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of a brief overview of the QuickBooks Point of Sale software and who we are. Ever since QuickBooks began, our mission has always been to solve big customer problems, and you can go ahead and forward the slide there. Has always been to solve big customer problems for small and medium-sized businesses. Now, back in 2002, the point of sale was born out of the need to integrate the retail storefront with the QuickBooks back office accounting, financial software. Our customers needed a way to ring up those sales and track a detailed inventory without creating the need for double data entry. And QuickBooks has been offering top-of-the-line point-of-sale solutions ever since then. Now, we've seen a lot of innovation. There's an old proverb I like that says, necessity is the mother of invention, or as Plato put it, our need will be the real creator. But the way things have been changing recently, we needed to have a partnership with a leader like Webgility. Because, go ahead and forward, because while change is constant, this year has seen more change, more real need, as Parag has pointed out, than any other year I can remember. The new QuickBooks Point of Sale is built for today's retailer. As you've already seen, today's shoppers are rapidly changing and keeping up with that demand in a way that can separate is what will separate your business from those that will thrive during this season, as opposed to those that might, just barely survive or worse. This will include things such as being able to offer both in-store and online shopping experiences, as well as the curbside pickup and delivery options. Within your store, we now have the option of being able to process credit and debit cards, along with contactless options such as Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Samsung Pay. And we can do that all with rates as low as 1%. We give the local retailer the advantage of being able to do all of that in a more personalized way, which is really the advantage and how you can maintain the advantage you have as a local retailer. In truth, from a competitive standpoint, it's hard to compete with an Amazon or a Walmart. The advantage you have that QuickBooks Point of Sale can give you is being able to know your customers, have everything in one centralized location so that you can truly give that higher level of service, manage it all in one place. What the point of sale will allow you to do is keep your in-store, your online, your customer information, all your inventory, your payment processing, your reporting, everything in one tool so that you're not spending hours and hours of pulling different reports, pulling different information, compiling it, and then if you have the time, figuring out where to go with it from there. But everything will be in one tool for you to access all at once. These products are all built into the new point of sale, along with reporting built in that will show you specifically what channels are performing, what items are performing well in those channels, and how to optimize what you're offering on each channel, as well as who the customers are that communicating from you in multiple channels. As Prague already pointed out, you can even do the shipping directly out of Webgility, or you can even do it within the QuickBooks point of sale directly, so that you don't need additional systems involved. All of this is while you're working with a company that's been around over 37 years, making point of sale easy now for over 18 years, and providing seamless integration into the QuickBooks financial software with the integrated payments offering contactless payments with rates as low as 1%. I hope you're as excited about this new partnership as we are. Before we end today's Q&A, we do have one last poll question for you. And this I'll go ahead and put up for you now. And are you ready for this holiday season coming up?
Yeah, so if you could all just take a moment and fill that out, it'll help us really kind of understand where you are in your journey to being prepared for this holiday season. And we're more than happy to kind of reach out to you as well to make sure we can address those pain points and get you ready. So just going to give you guys another 10 seconds here to fill this out, and we'll move towards the next slide here. All right, I think most of the results are in, and we definitely have some folks that need some time to prepare. So not surprised, certainly this pandemic and all the challenges we see in the marketplace have been real surprise for a lot of folks, and there's a lot to prepare. And I hope that today's presentation gives you a real good foundation to be able to get ready, have a plan. So quite a few questions have come in. I know, I believe Shay will be reading out some questions for us, but if you've got a question, please put it into the Q&A section on Zoom. And if you'd like to set up a personalized demo of both Webgility or QuickBooks Point of Sale together, the number's on your screen, or you can go to quickbooks.com/POS. Tom, thanks so much for presenting again. We'll transition into the Q&A here. Let's see what kind of questions we have. Shay, did you want to fire up some questions from the audience?
Yeah, thanks, Prague. So we've got several questions here. Thanks for being engaged and asking us these too. So a few of these, one of the first ones that we have here was how many e-commerce platforms are included. So looking to see what all you can connect with. We definitely have the main 8 that we're connecting with QuickBooks Point of Sale version 19. That's including the Amazon, eBay, Etsy, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Magento, Shopify, and Walmart. So kind of your bigger hitters there, right, that most people are selling online these days. Another one that we got from Diney, I hope I'm pronounced that right, is so it has a shipping platform, and yes, we absolutely do. We can connect with FedEx, UPS, Stamps.com. Another good one we got from Jesse is, are we able to connect multiple Shopify stores with one QuickBooks Point of Sale? Answer to that is yes, Jesse, we're able to do that. Another one we had from Jesse too is he talked in some of the promotional materials about routing the order to the correct fulfillment center automatically. And how does this work in a QuickBooks Point of Sale multi-store environment when utilizing Webgility? Is it possible for each location to show their stock individually in our website? So the answer to that one is when you're connecting to Webgility in Point of Sale 19, we connect the inventory only to the headquarters store, and then QuickBooks Point of Sale 19 will display the items available in e-commerce in the item list. That's a great question. And if you need more details about that, you can definitely reach out to us and we can kind of work through your workflow individually if you have more questions regarding that. Let's see, another one here is, so does the monthly cost include the setup that Prague is talking about, or is it an additional cost? That's a great question. It is included in the monthly cost. So the implementation whenever you're first signing up with Webgility and Point of Sale 19, you go through a whole implementation process and we get you set up. It also includes the support costs, and the support is actually a phone, chat, and email. So you don't have to pay any additional costs there as you go. And that kind of goes perfectly. There was another question about how much does it cost? How does pricing work? So we definitely cater to your needs here. We have competitive plans starting as low as $39 a month. And we base it off of your orders. So however high your order volume is monthly that you're getting in really puts you in the right plan. And so we just would like to talk to you about your order volume in order to put you in into that correct plan. But we have several competitive plans for you there. Okay, just looking through the questions here. Seeing if there's a few more. Oh yeah, there's a good one about will be able to see my inventory and customer data for online and in-store sales and run one report. Yes, you can do that. So in QuickBooks Point of Sale 19, there's an e-commerce filter that shows you the products you sell online. You'll be able to use that same filter in the sales history for your e-commerce sales. You can also, from a reporting perspective, you can make specialized end of day reports to just show your online and brick and mortar sales for the day. Okay, and then I think we just got two more that came in. We only have one store, but your plan sells a minimum of 2. I can get only one from Rod. Okay. And then also from Rod, the $39 is there plus a transaction fee. So from the Webgility perspective, there's not a transaction fee in addition to that $39. It is inclusive. And then the plans do start at $39 and include those 2. So if you do want to kind of grow into that plan, you also have that capability. But we can work with you on the plan that best fits your needs. Okay. Sorry, just going through the Q&A here, making sure that we got everything answered. Oh, and then another one, what is a channel? Oh, so the sales channels are just your online store. So that just refers to like Amazon, eBay, Shopify, wherever you're using either your marketplace or wherever you're selling online. Oh, right, we're getting a few more in here too. Hold on one second. WooCommerce website, how does a new item get generated from Webgility? I would need a little bit more specifics there. Do you mean whenever you're first creating your items out of point of sale?
Yeah, I could quickly take that. So with WooCommerce, you have pretty much a seamless integration. So your items from point of sale, you see them on a screen, you click a button and it'll generate the basic item up to your WooCommerce store. And it also transfers the image from your point of sale. So the new item is published in your e-commerce channel in WooCommerce. And from that channel, you can log into Woo if you want to add a lot more details or descriptions about the item that might not be already in the point of sale solution. There's a question here about what is a channel. A sales channel is any e-commerce channel. So we count, if you're selling on Amazon, Amazon's a channel. If you're selling on Shopify or WooCommerce, those are considered channels. We don't differentiate between what's a marketplace versus Shopify. We consider every one of them as one channel, as one separate channel. So by design, what we've done with these plans is you can grow into them as you have more channels, but you get 2 off the bat. So one can be your primary sales channel and the second can be one where you're experimenting. And what we find the most common is folks that have a primary store with their Shopify or BigCommerce, and then they will have or a WooCommerce, and then they'll have a marketplace account as well. Another question I see here from Barb is around shipping providers. So we're currently, unfortunately, not certified with Canada Post, but we do have UPS and USPS here in the US along with FedEx. So those are the key shipping providers that are available. I think that covers most of the questions here. We've got a few more. Oh boy. Okay, so Our headquarters is point of sale multi-store. You don't have a lot of stock or total inventory. Boy, that's some interesting questions. Is it possible to map our total stock available quantity to our Shopify so we can utilize the entire stock and just what is in HQ? Absolutely. So this is all part of the setup process. When you configure how your sales channels are set up with your point of sale, you can choose your actual stock location, and we're happy to kind of walk you through some of those details when you're ready to get going. Let's see here. There's a stream of questions here, Shay. Anything else that you want to just address?
Yeah.
I think we're coming up on time.
Yeah, I think that's the main ones. There are some kind of specific to setup questions, which we would love to do a deeper dive. I think Keith, you had one of those. So we would love to talk to you further about some of those instances that you posted in here, but that kind of really ties up the majority of the questions here. I can pass it back to Anitai.
Perfect.
Excellent.
All right, I'll have you flip back over to the slide here just so we've got that. Thank you so much, you guys, for attending today and your fantastic questions. Like, there's more than we could even answer. Just so you know, I've got all your questions logged, and we can actually reach out to you with ones we weren't able to answer live. So definitely get in touch with us. We also have another opportunity to deep dive and really talk about, how do these solutions personalize to your business? And that's a great way to have a good conversation, really dive deep with our experts here. So I recommend scheduling a personalized demo. You can do that through phone or by visiting quickbooks.com/POS, and that will get a conversation started for you. But again, I love that you guys were so engaged. We had great questions, and the recording of this will be sent out afterwards so you can go back and pull more out of it. But nope, this was fantastic. I wish all of you guys the best of luck. I know we're running up on the holiday season and being prepared and getting geared up for that. So guiding your attention during this time is definitely a gift. So thank you to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And yeah, we'll all be in touch soon.
Thank you, Anitai, and thank you everyone for attending. Really appreciate you taking a precious time out of your day, and hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you all.